this time we'll be taking a look from the DC Universe Classics Wave 13, the Blue Devil. And you see here on the back of the card his biography and statistics, as well as the other figures in the line: Negative Man, Superboy, Cyclotron, Blue Beetle, Cheetah, and Donna Troy, as well as the Collect and Connect figure Trigon. Being part of the 75th anniversary collection, all the figures came with a little pin, as well as the piece of Trigon, and that's his. Blue Devil, or Daniel Cassidy, first appeared in the Fury of Firestorm number 24 in a 16-page preview, which is something that DC Comics liked to do back then, is give a little preview, an original story, within the pages of an already established comic. And this is a very nice sculpt. It's probably, I have to say, it's probably my favorite out of all the figures of this wave. I like the sculpt on the face, his horns, his little earring there that he has, the goofy 80s costume that he's sporting, and as well as the trident. There is some little minor details, some minor nits that I have to pick about this. The yellow has a little bit of a bleed here on the blue in parts. They're a little bit of a sloppy paint job in parts too, on the legs and here on the cuffs. He's got this little, I don't know if it's picking up, but he's got a red mark here on the figure. You can see here, looks like some of the paint there was still wet and got pulled into the blue part of his paint job. Minor painting mistakes, nothing that will make me hate the figure. Of course, it has all the pretty standard DC Universe articulation. His head is a little bit restricted by the collar, but other than that, you got pretty much the same amount of articulation as any other DC Universe Classics. And he comes with his trident, a very nice gold color. Daniel Patrick Cassidy was a special effects artist, designer in Hollywood, who was also a stuntman. And he was asked to create the costume of this Blue Devil for a movie, as well as to act in the costume. Thinking that it was his big break, he took the job. Unfortunately for him, several of the crew and cast inadvertently released a demon. This demon, he fights in the suit, because the suit has many special effects that were practical effects. So he uses this suit to combat the demon and force it back to wherever it came from. The demon he fought was called Nebrios. However, he is caught by a mystical blast that fuses the costume and him together. He becomes the costume, kind of. So his main goal is to be cured of having to live like this. Eventually, he grows into the role of superhero adventurer, and he begins to like this, even to go so far as he has a kind of a sidekick in Kid Devil, also known as Eddie Bloomberg, who later becomes a major character in the Teen Titans. He also joins the JLA, and so just as he's beginning to really become comfortable with being the Blue Devil, his sort of other career as an actor and stuntman has suffered. So he makes a deal with the demon Neron for fame, but it costs him the friendship of Eddie Bloomberg, because Eddie's aunt has died as a result of his actions. But he confronts Neron, and his physical body dies. However, he is resurrected as a true demon in a much more demonic-looking form than what you see here. He is briefly part of a reimagined Justice League Europe. However, he's killed by the female Mist, the daughter of the original Golden Age Mist, in the pages of Starman. However, being a demon, he is easily resurrected by Sebastian Faust, Felix Faust's son. Plays a big role in the DC event Judgment Day. And he is then afterwards given another trident, a mystical trident, actually called Lucifer's Trident, which banishes demons that are present on the earthly plane back to hell. And that sort of becomes his shtick, in that he seeks out demons that are not supposed to be on Earth and sends them back to hell. In between that, he takes a job as basically a bouncer for the mysterious bar known as Oblivion, which is host to many mystical and magical powered people from all over the DC universe. And it's there that he meets the rest of the group that would become Shadow Pact. He is currently still a member of that group, even though their adventures aren't really being highlighted anymore since they've lost their own series. His original trident, which I believe this is, was filled with all sorts of technical gadgets that once exposed to the mystical blast that changed him into Blue Devil permanently, became real. So, like, a slight flamethrower would be able to throw real fire instead of just a short little blast. So any kind of special effect became real, and I think he's had something like different types of blasts come from it, and even had rocket engines in the bottom of it, I believe, so he could use it to fly. It's kind of a neat little idea, and initially played with the whole he's a Hollywood guy and what that means and what fame is. So yeah, he's a pretty cool character. Had a nice run of about 25 issues, 30 issues in the in the mid-80s. Just before, during, and after Crisis. Really a cool time for DC. So that's my review of Blue Devil. Stay tuned for the next review, which will be on Donna Troy / Wonder Girl. And until then, see ya.